Our CTE courses are just as important, if not more important a lot of times, than our core subjects.
When you are competing with thousands and thousands of people for, a certain college that you love, and you are a step above, it's a big deal.
By letting them see, I'm learning the theory of geometry here, but in my shop class, I'm applying it.
To really shine those students or the candidates who can show proficiency in math, in science.
When a teacher tells you, hey, you did good, here's an A, that's one thing, that's their job. When you go into a national competition, they don't care.
The more exposure you can get before you get into the business, the more valuable you're going to be to the person that hires you. Experience is everything.
People may think, oh, certification is just taking a test. Well, it is taking a test. But I think that sets people apart who don't get certified.
So getting to go there and hearing it from the people who work there, the specific people who actually make that money, who actually do those things, it was a lot more fulfilling.
The means that it provides is I'm able to do, everything that I want, which is amazing.
If you're a CTE teacher and they walk across that stage and they have no idea what they're doing, then you're probably not doing a great job.
A very good point is not all students are going to traditional four-year universities, but everyone is going to work.
We are tasked with a job not only to get students college ready and get them through high school, we're tasked with actually helping a student become successful through every phase of their life and the career path that they choose.
Well, I thought of becoming a doctor when I was in 6th grade. And what stimulated that interest was I was on the volleyball team and I saw sports injuries, and I was amazed at how the trainers, would take care of injuries. So I thought, that would really be neat.
Our engineering class, that I think has helped me the most going into my engineering school at A&M. They teach you more of methods and ways to do things, not exactly just hammering material, and so I think that's the number one way they got across to us.
I took CTE classes in high school. They were medical tailored. There's 4 years of them. I learned the basics. I learned that's where I wanted to be. It made going to college a lot easier because I kind of knew already where I was going. My classes were easier because I'd already taken a lot of these classes.
I just think it prepares them even at a younger age. In our business, it's more about talent than tenure or than what you bring to the table.
There's positions on the units, in operations and other technical roles that you don't have to have a full 4-year engineering degree, but you'll learn more of a trade or more of the nitty-gritty, how does all this stuff work, and then you're the person that actually goes and makes the stuff work. And more that's becoming prevalent, especially with the expansion of the industry. We need more people on both sides.
After high school, I didn't really think that I was gonna, end up using video production or go into video production ever since I found my love of makeup. I just, I thought that was just gonna be on the back burner, something that I had learned, but I actually was able to apply it to my YouTube videos. So now I do my own YouTube videos and I know how to edit them, I know how to, film them, how to adjust the lighting. I know all of those things that I learned from media class.
We don't want the traditional one-skilled individual. We want someone that's well-rounded, that can do multiple things. The best person I can find is someone that doesn't only edit, but they can shoot, they can write. The term one-man band is used a lot in television.
And I think that's the most important thing when you talk about career in technology and versus college is what can you do? Not what do you know, show me what you can do.
Our job is to prepare students for careers, whether they're immediately going into that after high school or they're going in after college. Well, CTE courses are the opportunity to make the core subjects come alive.
you can learn the 3 laws of thermodynamics, and you can state them out loud. But the thing that I think the teachers really need to focus on is taking those things and then making it so the student can apply them to things in the real world.
Truly understand why they're doing what they're doing, not just I plug this cable into this and it does that. Why are you plugging it in? The whole flow of the process, from how it gets from point A to point B and where it can go wrong in between.
Whenever I was in audio video production class, we actually did films for NASA. So what would happen is the astronauts would send us their footage from outer space, and I mean, we didn't understand anything that was going on. So we actually had to pull the science teachers in, and they had to kind of explain to us what the terminology was and what everything kind of meant.
We had to construct a camera, so it was electrical and aero, and we had to get it to fly, like stay in the air, and when it was coming down, I had to take pictures. So we were just learning the basics of working in a team, keeping everything logged, and using these 2 disciplines of engineering to work on this and complete this task.
I would say that science classes are very important, math as well. Mainly science. I don't really like math that much. It's very sciencey. Math does play a part though.
The journey of food is the journey of man, and you think about the history behind each dish. I think having an understanding of what it originates from, what part of the world it's from, kind of helps you translate to what you want to present on the plate.
When you are in with the core teachers and you see what they are doing, trying to get these kids interested in the sciences just to begin with, or, you know, English, history, you know, different core classes, I think it offers them an insight about how they can also help their students and not just be focused only on the health technology.
It would behoove an automotive instructor to align himself with an English teacher, a science teacher, a math teacher, and a social studies teacher. And most people say, why social study? Because vehicles have a history. And history teachers teach how to research, how to pull things out from the past and make meaningful use of it.
You're showing that student who really may not give a flip about science and math because they're in auto tech. That's their passion. But when you sit there and show them how auto tech relates to science and math, then all of a sudden you've made science and math come alive to them. Then they look at it and go, oh my gosh, it's like the old cartoon. The light bulb goes, kung, and it pops off, and then that student goes, I get it.
That's the beauty to me of CTE, is combining that with core classes so that you can see the value of a total education. We all know how the world has changed in the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and 40 years. And so if our CTE teachers are not keeping up with what's going on in the real world, you really don't know how much things have changed.
You know, healthcare has changed so much from the time I went to medical school to the time I graduated and started a practice until now, because you know, I've been doing this over 20 years. I wish they would have taught more of the administrative side of medicine, like billing and coding, insurance, things like that. Business aspect of it, I mean, it's changed a lot.
Well, they need to know how a shop operates. They need to know how to navigate that environment. Most of the high school students that enter a program are oblivious to that particular environment.
I would encourage students to get into as many kitchens as they can. The more kitchens you see, the better understanding of the restaurant business a student's going to have. And you know, all kitchens may be the same, but a lot of the kitchens, they're the same but different. So,
I had 3 summer internships while I was in school. And what's interesting is that my 2 years that I've been with my company has been chemical engineering, but my internships were actually in electrical engineering. But one of the things I've found that's been really helpful because of that is that I now am able to take topics from one discipline and connect them with topics from another.
We took a tour of the place and they really broke down, you know, what they expect from their employees and really what they're doing and their goals. And so we got to look around and really get that vibe.
Like, I know a lot of stuff from high school, so you know, they're like, hey, do you want to learn how to draw blood? And I'm like, I'm actually already certified in that. And so it made it a lot easier, and it put me steps and mounds and leaps above other students.
I actually got to present our project to the head administrator of NASA from Washington, D.C. And, you know, so whenever I got up there, I was really nervous, but, you know, luckily I got up there and, you know, he asked me what we were doing, and I was on point, and I just answered everything really, you know, confidently. And, you know, it was really cool because that kind of prepared me now for everything that I'm going into, the teaching, and now I'm really not scared to, you know, to talk in front of crowds.
Let's just say I'm hiring a high school student, and I've done that before, someone fresh out of school. The resumes aren't there. They're coming in, but the experience is not there. When we hire photographers, we look for someone that knows the DSLR, that knows the normal operating cameras too, not just the DSLR, and there's not a lot of them. And if they do, I have one at home, I've taken pictures with it, I'm sure I could do it. Here, you guys have all the tools. You've got the audio gathering devices with the Zooms, you've got the Canons, and to get those in the hands of the students and let them use them now, I mean, they're gonna be well above most of the people. I mean, I'm looking to hire people right now.
If you don't reach out and keep up with the technology, then you're really not benefiting the student, because they're walking across that stage at graduation and they're not prepared to go into the workforce. And remember, we're preparing students for college and career. And so if you're going to prepare them in the classroom for college, but you're not going to take the time in career to stay up with technology and prepare that student for a job, then you're doing a disservice to that student.
We prepare our students for the world today, but also preparing them for the changes that are going to come for the world tomorrow. There are some people that are going to be very interested in the subject area and some less interested in the subject area.
Every student is different, every person is different. We all learn at a different pace.
You sit in school all day and you learn from a textbook. And you're like, well, that's great, I'm glad the blood does that. I don't really care.
A shop classroom, the last thing they want to do is sit for 55 minutes because they just left math for 55 minutes, and the period prior to that they was in English for 55 minutes, and now they're ready to do something else, get up and move around.
I'd say one of the least efficient ways to motivate somebody to do something is say, we're gonna grade you on this, and that's it. Now, I know grades are important, and I know that to students they can be very, very important just intrinsically, but what's more important is a sense of awe you get from completing something.
You got to take away the feel of actually getting to work on a project, having a time limit, like, 5 weeks from here, here we want this, here we want this, make sure you have this, and then a final project at the end. So it was a good experience.
In the short amount of time that they have the students, expose them to as much as you can. Getting the hands-on experience with someone that can actually tell them what it does and teach them the right ways to use it is huge.
And so these teachers, when they're teaching these students about being in healthcare, I think if they can find a connection with that student, I mean, that is just the key, in my opinion.
Ask the kids why are they in this class? What they want to get out of it. Some may just try to take it just to learn something, but some may have a real passion behind it, and maybe the curriculum for the day may not be into their interest, but everyone has an interest in food. We all do.
You might have a student that's in that 20% that just kind of sits back. You really have to look at the root of the problem as to why they aren't motivated. Look at what the student's passion is, and then meet the students at that point. And when you do that, you're reaching every student every day.
A teacher that sees that someone is not interested or doesn't appear to be interested needs to find what motivates that student and what will get that student involved. You know, the beauty of living in the greater Houston area is we have the most diverse economy now, probably of any major city in the country. So if you're looking at telecommunications, if you're looking at computer technology, if you're looking for oil and gas production, if you're looking at welding, if you're looking at medicine, there are so many opportunities in the greater Houston area to go find out what the cutting edge is and what we could possibly be exposing our students to give them an edge over others.
I believe the greatest asset that Cy-Fair community has, especially for our CTE teachers, is our Chamber of Commerce. We have a vibrant Chamber of Commerce, and it covers everything from A to Z that would be in career and technology. If you reach out to our business partners through the Cypher Chamber of Commerce, I can promise the CTE teachers, they will have more prospects than they would ever want for our students.
CFISD is a large organization, and almost any type of job that you may see in other industry, we pretty much have here. Whether it's our AV program to team up with our transportation department, our culinary arts. If you go to our food production center, it's the most modern food production center probably in the greater Houston area. Technology. We're spending over $250 million over the next 2 or 3 years upgrading the technology in this district that goes all the way from hardware to software. The opportunities available for our teachers to team up with professionals in all of our CTE areas actually is available right here in Cypher ISD.
We have these opportunities. Who wants to take advantage of them? Because I promise, if you do that in the Cypher community, our career and technology teachers and students will be overwhelmed with the amount of support they would receive. Seriously, I do need a website updated. I have no idea where to go. Don't put that on the film.
The greatest thing that we can gift our students with is the ability to adapt to change. Because our students today, let's just say our high school students, will still be working in the year 2060, 2065. Now, think of the changes that are going to occur in the next 40, 50 years. And we have to prepare our students to adapt to those changes.
Every opportunity you can get to get a jump start, that's what's really changed a lot, is people are exposed so much more to technology than when I got into the business, even though it was hardly over 10 years ago, and every day it changes.
All the engineering firms are changing into doing this fracking process, which is able to squeeze more oil out of the ground. And so nobody knew how to do it until somebody obviously figured it out. And once they figured it out, everybody had to adapt and learn how to do that. So I think adapting is just the #1 way. Obviously you have all the knowledge and the expertise of the field, but if you can't apply yourself into learning new things, you're never going to stay with the crowd and you'll fall behind. And so I think that's the #1 way.
I see food trucks as a good opportunity for students in the future because it will give them a little more ability to show their skills as chefs without having to invest in a restaurant or having to invest in a full-size kitchen.
Never feel like you know enough. Always, go the extra mile to learn things, research, take classes. Even though you may feel like, oh, I already know that I'm the best, take classes, and if you're not prepared to do that, if you only specialize in one style, you can lose a client who's, willing to pay you millions of dollars.
It's learning skills that, you can use, and it's just a really good idea if you want to go kind of further in life.
What I would advise teachers and students, if healthcare is really what you want to do, do it. But you've got to really love it, because you can't do it for the money, you can't do it for the prestige, because it's an honorable profession and it's one of service.
Build those business relationships, invite them into your program, let them critique your program. One of the best things that I personally did as a teacher is allow a couple of business people in and watch me give a lesson and have them tell me, good, the bad, and the ugly.
Engineering students are sometimes very interesting and closed off people because we're good at math and science, and you don't necessarily have to be able to talk to other people. And so if you see your students coming out and either coming up to you asking questions or getting in groups or trying to decide things, I would hope that warms your heart, because that means that you're doing a great job teaching them how to be real engineers.
If you've had someone in your career and technology class and you've worked with them for 4 years and they walk across that stage and then walk straight into the workforce, you've done a great job.
The greatest thing that we can do for our students, whether it's in CTE courses or our core courses, is to prepare them for a world that's going to be in constant change, and not only to be prepared for it, but be prepared to adjust as it moves along.